In my brief introduction to time management. So in this short video, I'm going to be talking about self-leadership. Now, this is a term that I have borrowed from Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And it's something that's reiterated in lots of different books about time management. And the principle is quite simply that you can't prioritize your time and therefore your actions and activities if you don't know where you're aiming for. I suppose the analogy could be that you wouldn't necessarily get in the car and start a journey without any idea of a destination in mind. If you did, then you're probably not using your time to the best of its ability or to the best of your ability, and perhaps a slightly chaotic way to do things. So Stephen Covey talks about self-leadership as coming before self-management, which we'll talk about later on. So in the context of time management, if you're going to use your time well, you need to have an idea of what you're hoping to achieve. And in order to do that, you need to make sure that you know what your ultimate goals are. Now, in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey takes this to extremes. So he says that you should imagine yourself, do a mental exercise, imagine yourself at your funeral. So imagine what it is your friends and family would say about you, even write your own eulogy. Now, I'm not saying that you need to take things to that kind of extreme, but it would be helpful for you to think about, for example, what you want to do in 10 years' time, or even what you'd like your retirement to look like. And it's not so much what we want in our lives in terms of possessions or achievements, though those things are certainly important. There's no reason to say that financial well-being is not an important thing, it really is. But it's more about the way you want to be, how you want to walk in the world. So this little snippet is really thinking about the forest you want to walk in, so to speak, and how you want your life to look. So if you're already doing a degree, which most of you watching this little video probably will be, you will have thought about why you want to do these years of study, why you want to pay for these years of study, and what you're hoping to achieve at the other end, and possibly how you see your career panning out from that. So you have a pretty clear idea of what you're aiming for. So when you're prioritising your time now, you want to be thinking about those end goals and thinking about, okay, what do I need to do first and place most importance on in order to achieve those. So the phrases to bear in mind for this are begin with the end in mind, and all things are created twice. Begin with the end in mind is fairly self-explanatory, but all things are created twice bears a little more thought. What this means is that you create everything first in a plan, in your mind, in your imagination, or on paper, before you launch into the real thing. So for example, you'd plan a house before you built it. So why do we so often launch ourselves into activities with no sense of how they complement the greater whole? So as Stephen Covey puts it, if the ladder is not leaning against the right wall, every step we take just gets us to the wrong place faster. So step 1 in time management, which is really self-leadership, is about stepping back, looking at the forest. Are you in the right forest? Are you endeavouring to hack your way through the right jungle? Because if not, stop, reverse, regroup, and think about what it is that's important to you and what activities you need to engage in to reach your ultimate goals. So perhaps in a slightly less extreme way, imagine yourself in 5 to 10 years' time and think, are the activities that I have on my to-do list today endeavouring to get me to a goal which actually feeds into the kind of person and the kind of life I want to lead? So a very similar idea that's been explained by Levin in his book on time management in terms of the university is to think about what, besides the qualification bestowed on you when you graduate, you would like to get out of the years you spend being a student. If you don't want to emerge at the end like an item off a production line, please do think for yourself about the person you want to become and devote some of your time to achieving that vision.